Hello, people. Welcome back to another video by your good friend Chad Marco, the big Anarchy. Make sure you guys check out my other social media. And so we have another comments video for you guys. So let's get right to it. So on the first comment, we have Hitagi on the second Irish rejection video. And he says, you should have just blocked her. Don't put in energy to a girl who doesn't like you. Honestly, you should go create R9K threads looking for film sales. Oh no. And who knows, maybe one would be interested. There are women in this world who cry about being undesirable and lonely. Iris is one of them, but in reality, they just don't want to put the tiniest effort into making themselves desirable. Take care. Now, I don't think going to R9K looking for film sales is a good idea. So I'm gonna have to decline that offer. But you know, one thing about Iris though, because I see what you're saying, but Iris is actually more self-aware than what people realize. And if you watch the interview that we had, I actually asked her about that, like what she thought about the concept of film sales and whatnot. And she said film sales don't really exist. And she mentioned that as far as like dating and having options, like she knows that if she puts herself out there even a little bit, that she's gonna have guys willing to date her, willing to have sex with her. And so she knows the power that she wields. I think that Iris just she leans into the film sale aesthetic and character because that's just what works as far as like her content. But to her credit, she admitted that she doesn't think film sales are real. And she knows that she can easily get dates and whatnot. Like she's not hard up for a dick or nothing like that. And it's kind of similar to what I do. Cause you guys know with my music, I lean into the sad boy that feel with no girlfriend shit, even though I'm a happy single virgin. But again, I lean into it because I like that vibe. I like that type of music. I like that aesthetic. But I think the difference between me and her is that most of the people that really follow me, they know that and understand that because of the separation of like the Chad Marco character in the music versus the Chad Marco person, like the real life Chad Marco that is presented in through podcasts and vlogs and videos like this. So people know the real me versus how I present myself in some of my music. And I think Iris doesn't have that separation. And so people feel like, again, she's like a fake film sale, but if you ask her, she'll tell you film sales don't exist. And so infamy or death. Oh, wait a minute. This was on the Who's Your Favorite Demon Slayer post that I made. And he said, infamy or death said, it's hard to pick either Kenroji, Rengoku, or Akaza. What I like about Demon Slayer is some of the villains are given tragic backstories and are shown to be sympathetic, like Akaza. I love his backstory. And then others are just pure evil like Doma and Muzan, but all have to pay equally for their crimes. Now, I haven't seen Akaza's backstory yet. I do know the character because he's the one that fought Rengoku. But as far as like that particular aspect of Demon Slayer, it's kind of like a love-hate thing for me. Because I do agree that it's not a completely bad thing, that there is some value in humanizing the demons, but and I talked about this when I did my Demon Slayer anime review. I felt like they did it too much. I felt like they tried too hard to humanize too many of the demons. And my problem or my issue with that is that what it does is, to me, it diminishes the satisfaction of the victory for the hero when he finally destroys or beheads the demon. Because it's like right when you get that moment of beheading the demon, then it flashes back to why you need to feel sorry for him. And like I said, it just kind of fucks up the moment a little bit. It's cool sometimes, but I feel like they did it too much. So for me, again, I see what you're saying, but it's more of a hit and miss thing for me. I think there's value in it, but I also think they overdid it in Demon Slayer. And so on the same post, the Death Metal Otaku says, so is this anime actually good? I always ignored it because it seemed like mostly normies and tourists liked it. I say that it's good. Right now, I really like it. I'm really into it. I don't think it's up there with the greats, but I do think it's good. The thing about it for me, and Infamy or Death kind of speaks on it, he says the plot is paper thin. but the story is good and straightforward. Like, that's true. Like, most of the elements of this anime are solid at least. But I think, to me, one of the most impressive things about it is the production values. Like, the animations, the art, the sound, like everything as far as like the overall quality of the anime is so top notch. Like, a lot of the episodes look like something taken out of an anime movie. So the overall quality is just so amazing. Now, you might think that the plot and whatnot ain't anything special, and I can see that. But I think it's solid enough that when combined with those high production values, you really can't go wrong when it comes to watching Demon Slayer. That's how I would put it. Like, I see it like that. Like, you might watch it and not think it's up there like top 50, top 100 or something like that. But you can't go wrong watching Demon Slayer because everything about it is at least solid and the production values are through the roof. And so Top Doc says on the Iris or the second Iris rejection video, this is why I don't seek women. I'll legit consider a relationship once I'm confident and aware that I am the best version of myself. If you're in a position in your life where you know a person you have feelings for doesn't reciprocate and support you regardless of what you're going through at that moment, leave. There is someone out there who will support you for just being yourself. Now, to be clear, when I asked out Iris, it wasn't like me being in a state of seeking women. Like, I've never, I don't think I've ever in my life been in that state, like actively seeking girlfriends and shit like that. And I talk about this more in the friend zone video that I'm putting out, but I just always told myself that if I befriend a girl that I like, I'm going to let her know that I like her so I don't end up in the friend zone. I want to get that out the way, whether she likes me back or not, whatever. But that's why I asked her out. And even like me getting the interview, like, I didn't hunt Iris down on R9K thinking that I was going to like her, because really physically she's not my type. But it was more so when I was talking to her, that's when I started to like her, you know. But yeah, I wasn't like you guys know me, I'm never in a state of like seeking girlfriends and shit like that. It's too much effort. But Iris was just there because we had already done the interview and it was like nothing for me to go ahead and just ask her. So it was easy breezy to get that out the way. But I understand why you feel that way about wanting to be the best version of yourself before you date, because it's already so hard for guys like us, average guys or below average guys, whatever the case may be. It's difficult because we're so expendable and easily replaceable when it comes to women. Like, there's nothing that I have or that I bring to the table that's just so amazing to women that is going to make me stand out amongst the sea of male dating options that they have. And a lot of guys find themselves in that position. And so that's why, you know, you might want to wait until you level up a bit or do something about yourself that makes you stand out more, just to make dating easier. Otherwise, it does feel like an uphill battle. And so Epic Minecraft Fail says, if they don't want you at your worst, they don't deserve you at your best. Don't say that. That's what women say. And Top Doc responds, he said, same goes the other way, right? The problem is, if you want to be real about it, being in a relationship, it means that you both should be at your best. That means that you can both still be at your worst if you both have seen each other at your best already. You could love someone blindly, but it won't last or be one-sided. To have a lasting relationship, you got to know and understand one another well. A man's loyalty is tested when he has everything, while a woman's is tested when he has nothing. I like that last part, damn. But I don't really think you got to be the best version of yourself to get into dating or to date. Now, it helps, like I said before, but I feel like that's more so something that guys like us have to do. Guys who just don't have like naturally attractive ability or traits about us, we got to put in the extra work. We got to build ourselves up to, you know, being closer to the best version of ourselves. But the fact is, like, I was just talking to an old friend that I grew up with, and I mean, this guy's life is a disaster. In and out of jail, drug user, all types of shit, bro. Like, this guy just wild. But he's always had multiple women, and he has multiple children right now. And I'm telling you, this guy is like, goddamn, Like nowhere close to being the best version of himself. Because I think he's very intelligent. It's just he kind of went down the wrong path in life. But like I said, man, it's like he serves as an example that you can get women being a complete mess if you just have something about you that girls like, or you're willing to like really chase and pursue. So again, it helps, but the most important thing is just being genetically and physically desirable to the opposite sex. And then Epic Minecraft Fail says, the way gender dynamics work, a woman doesn't ever need to be at her best. That's the man's role. And that's true too. Women have to live up to a much lower standard than men do, typically to have, still have a lot of dating options. And then Top Dot says, Stacy, a fair looking woman doesn't need to be at her best, just as Chad or a genetically gifted guy doesn't either, regardless of gender. If either side is less tolerant of the other, then the relationship deserves to be questioned. There's a chance that it is unhealthy. So I mentioned that before, that, the genetically gifted people don't have to really be at their best or anything special as far as like building themselves or something like that. The genetics tend to do the work for you. And then Top Doc finishes, he says, at the end of the day, if you're happy with yourself and are aware you are being at your best, ultimately for your own sake, a relationship is an afterthought. If you do end up in one and things don't work out, you gain more from it than losing, as opposed to being desperate and getting in a relationship. At that point of your life, it will only cause more turmoil to your feelings and mental damage. And I agree, even when I look at myself, I've made a lot of improvements to myself in my life, going from my late teens to my early 30s where I'm at now. And I'm very proud of the progress that I've been able to make. But everything that I've done, I did it for myself. I did it for myself, my family, my friends, my fans. I never did anything with the thought, oh, this is going to help me get women. It never did, man. Because I just never felt like that was a good investment because of how volatile the dating game is, And so, again, if you're happy with yourself, then that's the main thing. Happy with yourself and the development and the progress you've made as far as bettering yourself. That's what's number one to me too. And so on the second Irish rejection video, Pumpkin says, and then she meets another guy at the grocery store. That was a hypothetical I presented. Won't post the whole thing because I already posted it on one of your old videos before, but I once asked out a girl. She said no because she wasn't ready for a boyfriend at the time. I said, okay, I accepted that. We went to eat Subway literally right after that conversation. As soon as we head inside, this tall Chad sandwich maker starts flirting with her. He gets her number. They plan a date all before my very eyes. Never again. That was the last time I even tried. And then Ponsu Monster says, damn. But yeah, it can happen that fast. It can be just that quick that a girl is able to find a guy to replace you. Or I guess not really replace you, but just, I think what fucked you up in that situation was that she said she wasn't ready for a relationship or a boyfriend. And then she went right into basically trying to find a boyfriend once she saw the right guy. And it sounds like to me in that situation, she just gave you a poor excuse to reject you because she didn't want to let you down too hard. So she didn't give you a clear total rejection, probably because she didn't want to make you feel bad, or she didn't want to face that particular conflict that it could present. So she let you down easy by telling you a convenient lie. And I think that's the real problem there. And that's why it probably hurt, because she said it in such a way that left you with some hope. And then M. Senna says, well, where's your self-respect? She said she wasn't interested in you and you still went out with her. You basically asked for the friend zone. You literally put yourself in a friend zone position. Not only that, Chad could suck with women as well. Only go for the women that want you and you won't have these problems. Now, I see what M. Senna is talking about, but I think the issue here was that she didn't give him a complete rejection. Now, M. Senna sounds like he's probably wise enough to have scoped out that this was a complete rejection, but she didn't say it like that. So I can understand why Pumpkin still had hope, because she didn't say like just outright no. It was no, because I'm not ready for it, right? So it gives you the thought that when she's ready, I have hope, I have a chance. And that hope, that's what fucks you up. And I talk about this more in the friend zone video that I'm putting out later. But, I think being friends with a girl that rejects you, I don't think that's a bad thing as long as you understand that there's no hope, right? As long as you have no hope afterwards, then it's fine. But I think the problem was Pumpkin still had hope. And not only that, he saw that she lied to him, that she lied about not being ready for a boyfriend instead of just being upfront and saying that she didn't want to be with him as opposed to what she told him was the issue. And so Kimosabi says on the same video, damn, that's some betrayal type shit. Almost block and delete the interview type shit. Props for handling that with a cooler head, Chad. And then Pumpkin says, he says everything with a smile now and laid back attitude. I don't know if he's in monk mode right now, but he definitely has more wisdom than all of us combined in regards to this dating advice stuff. And I know that sounds ridiculous when you say it like that, given the fact that I'm single and I'm a virgin. Like, what the hell would I know about dating advice stuff? But I think that it's very much in line with what Patrice O'Neal said. And I love what he said. And he said that I don't know how to get women. I know how to be happy, right? And that's really what my philosophy is based in. So as I talk about this whole situation, it all comes from that foundation of who I am as a person, my happiness, and my self-esteem, my self-love. And that's why I can talk about it the way that I do. Because I'm talking about a set of circumstances or things that typically like leave men heartbroken and fucked up. But I can handle it because, you know, it's really not a big deal to me. You know, to me, this is just an interesting story, good content, and a lesson learned, right? Like, that's why I don't take any of this really personally or have any hard feelings towards Iris, because I'm strong enough to deal with these little minor mosquito bites, if you will. And so, like you said, you know, shit like this, I can handle with a cool head. And the main thing, like I said, I don't know how to get girls. I know how to be happy, just like Patrice O'Neal. And so when you're happy and you feel good about yourself, it's like you don't care as much about these types of I wouldn't even say setbacks, but disappointments maybe. Because you know, at the end of the day, whether you get the girl or not, you're going to be okay. And when you understand that, it allows you to laugh it off and joke at yourself and stuff like that. And that's why I'm able to have fun talking about these, you know, this whole situation, because whether she rejected me or not, I would have been okay anyway. And Ghostface says, for real, I would have deleted the video the second I saw that shit. And Top Dot says, bro, definitely both relieved and hurt. It really does hurt to let go of someone till you realize it really is for the best. Wish my man luck, and we all got to learn from life. And then Katuro says, real shit. Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't feel anything, right? When I saw that she got the boyfriend, and like once I realized like what happened, as far as like, after the second rejection and then her flaking, and then all of a sudden this is like just pretty much ghosting me and being like fuck you and all that, and then I connected the dots, like it did make me feel a little bit. But you know, the thing is, the best way I can describe it, why it doesn't bother me that much, it's not like I'm this unfeeling monster or something like that. I always kind of looked at it like this. As I got older and more mature and wiser, it's like my consciousness expanded, right? So it's like as a child, my consciousness was like a puddle. And you know, if you got a little puddle and you throw a rock in there, the waves are gonna spread and disrupt the entirety of that puddle. But as I got older, my consciousness became more like a vast lake or ocean. And so now when you throw a rock in a lake or ocean, the ripples still appear, but it barely puts a dent in the entirety of that mass of water. And that's how I feel now. So when shit like this happens, I feel it, right? The rock goes into the water and makes ripples, but the water is so vast that overall it doesn't disrupt the stillness and the peace of my consciousness. When I was younger, this would have fucked with me more, Because again, I had the consciousness of a puddle or a small body of water. So you throw a rock in there, the ripples disrupt the entirety of the water or your consciousness. And so that's the best way I can describe it. It's not that I don't feel it. It's that my consciousness is so sturdy and strong and vast that when shit like this happens, it's all in the grand scheme of things, it's just little ripples in the ocean. It's not enough to disrupt an entire body of water that is my consciousness. And so Satori Blue says on a thought I put up in the Gundam video that he went back, no homo, I love you, Chad, you're the GOAT. I know. And you can easily find a woman who truly loves you if you broke past your self-imposed barriers. As one who as previously trapped in the melanated matrix, find your power, stop performing. Now, I wouldn't say easily, but I think he has a point as far as like the self-imposed barriers and shit like that. But see, this is the problem, right? Is when I got to the point when I was really happy, when I really began to realize the value of life, my life, the life of others, when I developed a true appreciation for my existence and everything, to realize the good fortune that I have, it just made me so happy that I couldn't bring myself to deal with the stupidity and the hostility of women when it comes to the dating game. So it's like, even if I've grown enough and developed enough as a man to where now if I tried, I would have a better chance, I can't bring myself to try because I'm too happy. I'm too, it's kind, and I've said this before, but this is kind of how I put it. If you have $1 million, why would you work at McDonald's? Why? You know, and maybe you can handle it. Maybe you can handle working at McDonald's. Maybe you good at flipping them burgers and dealing with the ratchet customers. But if you got $1 million, why would you deal with it? And that's kind of how I feel with dating. I have so much to be thankful for, so much good fortune in my life. I'm so happy and content and just enjoying my life. Why the hell would I put myself in this dating game where women are not going to appreciate me, are not going to value me? They're going to be constantly comparing me to other men that have this or have that I don't. They're going to expect me to bow down to them and to worship them. And I got to sacrifice this. I got to compromise that. I got to wear this. I got to talk like that. I can't say this, but I got to say that. Right? Why would I do that? I can't. I can't bring myself to play that game. I'm too happy for that shit. The Red Knight 88 says on, the Chad Marco Please Respond song that I recently put out. Yeah. And then Ghostface says some OG robot shit for real. And then Rub Hitagi says, new song, yo. By the way, if a girl does this, just confront her about it. You have nothing to lose, especially since online a lot of women are narcissistic and will just flat out tell you they don't want to talk to you or give you another reason, which in itself is probably just an excuse. I voice chat a girl for 2 hours. We had a lot of fun. The next day, she was just ignoring me. It's not worth the mental anguish, believe me. If you confront and nothing happens, just block. So the song was Please Respond, which is about talking with girls online and them ghosting you. But yeah, it's obviously the song was kind of based on my interactions with Iris. But again, like I say, you know, my robot music is always an exaggeration of events and feels. So don't take it like lyric for lyric. But yeah, that's basically how it goes down sometimes. Like he said, he voice chatted a girl for 2 hours and he thought, oh, this is great. And then the next day is like, wait a minute, she's ignoring me. I mean, I'm telling you, girls just have so many. I think a lot of it is just they got all these options. And so you could be having fun with her today, but then she gets in contact with a guy she's more attracted to tomorrow or a week from now. And that's what makes it so frustrating for guys. And so Hellbreaker says, on the should virgins pay for sex video, it doesn't matter. You're always paying. Anything else is a delusion of the mind and attachment created by feelings of inadequacy, created by propaganda. There is nothing special to it. Corn in hand can be significantly a bigger high. Now, I know that because Coach Greg Adams, he said the same thing. Everybody pays, right? But where I disagree with is that it's all the same. I don't agree with that. I think that when you seek out a real relationship, there is at least the possibility that the girl could really like you and, you know, actually be somebody that's, I guess, what you could consider to be a life partner, ally, someone that has your back. You know, I just don't, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is me thinking Disney, but I don't look at all women as just being like these callous monsters that just don't ever love men and don't ever I don't look at it. I just don't look at it like that. Now, how many women are not the way Hellbreaker describes? I don't know, but I don't believe all women are just like indistinguishable from a prostitute or something like that. I don't see it like that, but I see why guys, you know, can look at it like the way Coach Greg Adams does, because, you know, money is something that women tend to prioritize when it comes to dating and whatnot. But like I said, man, it's at least when you're dealing with women outside the realm of prostitution, then you at least have the chance of finding somebody that's legitimately attracted to you. And then he says on the power imbalance of age gap relationships, women still hold all the power. My mother is an immigrant who got lucky to marry a first worlder, older man who is also older than her significantly. She still holds the leash. It's quite pathetic. He is just a yes man. She totally owns him. I speak from experience. Now that happens too. So in the video, we were talking about how people tend to be concerned about age gap relationships because they feel like the guy being older and more experienced, he's going to be able to manipulate and take advantage of the woman and make her a sex slave or some crazy shit. He's a predator. But Hellbreaker brought up a good point here, and is that women can still have the power even in a situation where she's younger than the older guy. Because what people have to realize is that just because you're older and more mature doesn't mean that you're wiser. And it doesn't mean that you understand women dating. Like, I wouldn't even say understand women, but a lot of this shit is a mentality that you have to have. Like, I guess you could sum it up as like the red pill mentality, which is, I'm a man, I have control of my life, myself, and my space, and I only deal with women who are willing to go along with my program. And I know to some people that can sound controlling and whatnot, but it doesn't have to be that way. You know, it's just that I know who I am and what I want to do. And I'm not going to let anybody get in the way of that. You can live with me, be with me, ride with me, but I'm never going to let you get in the way of my dreams and what I need to do. It's like what Skip Bayless told his wife. He told her straight up, you have to know this. When it comes to my priorities, my job comes first. If you can't accept that, then don't be with me, right? That's the type of like red pill power mentality that will allow you to not be like, you know, what Hellbreaker is talking about here. But the point is, just because you're older doesn't mean that you're going to have the power in the relationship or something like that. Because a lot of guys, quite frankly, are just simp-hearted. And so they're going to be enthralled by their younger wife, their younger girlfriend, and she's going to be able to manipulate him or have the power in their relationship just like she would with somebody her own age or younger. And so on the That Feel With No Girlfriend video, Hellbreaker, you got two different accounts, says, girlfriend sounds like a headache. There was this mental cell who is otherwise successful with women, but he tells horror story after horror story in his YouTube channel. He dates modern day women and they are all in some way a ticking time bomb. You should be glad to be a true cell in this age. Having no girls eyeing you means you're safe as long as you don't make them feel uncomfortable. Once you get involved, it's nothing but a downward spiral of emotional games you will never win. And attempting to win, even if you're in the right, you become an enemy of the system and social circle, and will take time to get your cred up again. I don't want to be involved with them at all. I just don't want to have my brain chemicals bouncing all around the place, being teased in subtle ways for social games and manipulation. I'm so very tired of them. Sometimes these things you don't have are a blessing in disguise and you don't even realize it. Aloneness is a gift. If you can't handle it, maybe you should check out. Most men throughout history never reproduce. Most women did. You were built for this as a guy. You've just been conditioned by propaganda to be otherwise. Life ain't a Disney movie. That's for people in first world countries with no problems. Wake up, buddy boyos. I gotta take this comment and make a whole video because this is the realest shit Hellbreaker ever said. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like Hellbreaker, he cooked with this one. And you know, when you talk like this, look, I'm gonna take my shirt off for this one. It's hot. Hold up. I'm gonna take my shirt off now. But when you talk like this, people will think you're coping. People will think you have sour grapes. But that's not the case, bro. This is just what we see. You know, and I told this story the other night, but I'm gonna tell it again here because it's perfect for the situation. You know, I was talking to this older guy who's about 50, and he knows I'm a virgin, and I never had a girlfriend. And, you know, he never gave me shit for it, but he's one of the guys that's like, oh, you got to get a girlfriend, man. We got to get you a girlfriend, man. I'm like, nah. But it's like, he told me about his relationship history. He's been married 3 fucking times. The first time was to a woman, like, it was like high school sweetheart. Didn't work out because they were both young and stupid, right? Second wife was a BP demon, manipulative, crazy, had a kid with another guy, told him about it, but during the divorce proceeding, when he told the judge that one of the kids wasn't his, the judge said, no, you got to still raise him because you already raised him for 7 years. This was before home testing kits. So you had to go through the courts to get a lab test, and the judge didn't approve of the lab test. So he had to raise a kid that wasn't his by court order, right? Even when the woman admitted it wasn't his. The third wife, by the time he met her, he had 3 kids, she had 3 kids, and it was just pretty much a Brady Bunch situation, right? Just combining 2 different families and whatnot. Now, he says he loves his current wife. They've been married for about 20 years, something like that. But even some of the stories that he tells me about her, you can tell like there's some friction and there are different issues as far as like, you know, what comes with living with a woman and having different opinions on finances and lifestyle and whatnot. But really, quite frankly, that third marriage was a marriage of convenience. You know, you got 3 kids, I got 3 kids, what we gonna do? But the reason why I tell that story is because like, this is normal. This is the normal shit that happens. Like, if when I was in my late teens, if I didn't have the mindset that I had, if I didn't think, oh man, maybe I'm better off being single, maybe being single ain't such a bad thing, I could have ended up like him. Because first marriage, young and dumb. I was young, dumb, stupid, didn't know who I was. Second marriage, BP demon. I would have fell for the big butt and the smile. Like, then I probably would have been like, what, 23, 24, 25? Big butt and a smile would have got me, right? BP demon. And then during that, I probably would have had a kid or 2. And then third marriage. Well, now I got no choice but to settle for a single mom. And then I could have went down that same road if I didn't have higher thinking and said, you know what? Dating isn't all it's cracked up to be. Women aren't all they're cracked up to be. I would love to have those experiences, but I'm not the guy that girls even like that to make the journey easy enough to make it worth it. Fuck it. If it happens, cool. If it don't, great. But man, I would still say I'm not as pessimistic as you are maybe about this. I don't think all relationships are like this or all women are like this, but I can't sit here and blame you either, because this is really what, in a lot of ways, I think we think exactly the same. I'm probably just somewhat less pessimistic. Like, I guess I still have a belief that there are healthy relationships out there, that there are good women out there. I just don't think I have a good chance of finding that for myself. That's why I don't bother. But I don't look at it as like it's a holistically bad thing. It's more about the probability of finding the good relationship or the good woman versus the bad. But like you said, aloneness is a gift. If you can't handle it, maybe you should check out. How do you say? He said, you were built for this as a guy. You've just been conditioned by propaganda to be otherwise. And see, now I don't think he's talking to me directly because I wrote the book on monk mode and being alone and solitude. But I completely agree. Like, I remember when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s, I was kind of scared. I can say scared, but I was worried because people, like he said, conditioned. People always tell you, oh, you're going to be miserable alone. You're going to be sad and this and that. And I'm not going to lie, like years ago, I had those thoughts like, what if they're right? What if I'm going to regret this? You know, walking this path of embracing being single, not trying with women and shit like that. But what I actually found as the years went by and I focused on developing myself and making myself happier, bettering myself, was that I can be happy single. I can be happy without having sex. I can be completely fine as a single man. That's what I ended up discovering and figuring out. So it's like he says, it's like in all actuality, we're built for this shit. Most men never reproduce. Most women did. So what does that tell you? It's kind of like when you look at ant colonies or something. Most ants are like worker ants or soldier ants. They don't fuck, they don't reproduce, they just have a different role. I know we're not ants, but what if what if we're better suited for being alone than what we even realize? You know, but that's a topic for another day. But that's a great comment, Hellbreaker. Then Pumpkin says on the Please Respond song, I wonder if this song is one of Chad's fictional songs or if there is any story behind it. I remember sending 5 emails to a girl one week. For some reason, I thought she wasn't getting them, so sent more. The next week, I remember talking to her via 4chan, and she said she just didn't feel like talking to me or responding to my emails. She did get them, though. Definitely crushed me. After that, I just would send one email, and if no response, I assumed the girl ghosted me and hates my guts. Well, the song was actually inspired by the Iris situation. But when I say inspired, it's kind of like when you see those horror movies where it's like inspired by a true story, but it's like 90% bullshit. Right. But, you know, I can't lie, man. Sometimes it's hard to write for robot music, you know, when you're like me, you know, a happy single man, monk mode and all that shit. It can be hard. And I felt like that whole Iris situation was great for inspiration. If nothing else, I got great inspiration from that whole situation. So if you actually listen to the song and the lyrics, you can kind of see how it connects to like how we met and the interview and all that shit. Just pay attention to the lyrics, but there is some truth there. But of course, it's exaggerated for maximum feels. And then Hitagi says, sorry, dude, it doesn't mean she hates your guts, but she probably just found someone she likes more. It happened to me and it sucks because they never bring it up and give you false hope. I talked to a girl who flat out told me she was sort of narcissistic and would probably ignore me. But I love leaving little insults because that's the one time they will actually respond and just start seething like crazy. I'm not bold enough to do the negging thing, but I see what you're saying. But like you said, man, you know, a lot of times it's just the fact that she found somebody that she likes more. Again, I think part of the reason why I'm able to deal with it or not be bothered by it as much is because I can put myself in the shoes of the person on the other side. I can kind of put myself in the shoes of a woman, and you got to realize that you two are dealing with completely different circumstances. Because as a guy, we don't have girls coming to us by the goddamn truckload. For most of us, we get one girl at a time or deal with one girl at a time. Like, we literally have to approach and fight for every crumb of pussy that we get one by one by one. It's like fishing with a rod versus fishing with a net. Girls are fishing with a net, and the fact somebody else holding the net for them, right? The fucking fish just jump on the boat. You know, and so we're looking at completely different fields when you're talking about men and women and dating. And so I can kind of take myself out of my own position of like, okay, I can only see her because that's the experience of being an undesirable man. I got to go chase after every individual girl. But that girl that I'm looking at, she sees many men. She sees guys like crazy, 10, 20, 30, 40, guys at work, guys at school, guys that catcall in the street, guys in the mall, guys online, Instagram, Tinder, all this shit. Like she, and then on top of that, it's the subconscious knowledge that she has, knowing now, what if I really tried, right? What if I really put myself out there? Like I could really get some goddamn numbers going. And so that's why they look at dating differently. Like, to be frank, they don't care about us as much as we care about them because we're not special. You know, it's like you don't think much of the individual breaths that you take throughout the day because oxygen is so plentiful. But if you were stuck in a room where the oxygen is running out, right, every breath is going to be precious. That's what it's like for men. Every girl is like a breath in a room where the oxygen is running out. Like, you think about everyone. Every breath is sacred, is special, is unique, is different. For women, we're an afterthought because, again, if we're talking oxygen, women got men like fucking oxygen. Like, they outside in fresh air with the trees and the birds, right? Just, yeah, right? That's so you gotta understand that and just try not to take it too personally because you guys don't see the same reality. You're not important or special to her. You're expendable. She could copy and paste your ass 100 times in a week. That's the sad reality of it. And so Sneed Bottle says on the most banned rapper on YouTube video, Marco, you should start running this account like a business and just use it to advertise and sell licensing for your beats. Take down all the lyrical music and podcasts and just host it on SoundCloud or some other site and link them in the description. That's just a suggestion. A bunch of other people sell licensing for their songs on YouTube and their whole channel is basically just beats they make. I think you should do the same thing. Some examples are Grayskis and Avery Alexander. And of course, I'm saying this so you get to keep your channel invulnerable to strikes and just use it to sell music. I guess that way you get some use out of it. You know, I'll decide to just roll with it. You know, if I get a strike, then I'll probably just back off on some of the more controversial topics until the strike period goes away. But, you know, right now, I'm just not worried about it too much. I'm not going to go out of my way to get my channel axed for sure. But it's just one of those things. Like, because really, at this point, they could take my channel at any given time, bro. Because if you can take Clown World and say it's hate speech, you could take half my songs and say something, bro. Like, and then it wouldn't matter. Whether it, because look, you can't even, look, we all look at Clown World. We know that song is not anything worth being taken down, bro. Maybe Elliot Rodgers, the Santa Barbara Massacre. But with Clown World, that's just bullshit. That's blatant bullshit. But there's nothing I can do. And we all know it's bullshit. So I'm at the point now where it's like, I just don't worry about it as much because it's like they can take any of my videos and say anything they want and it's nothing I can do about it. Nobody's going to defend me. They're going to reject the appeal. It's nothing I can do at this point. So I'm kind of just like, fuck it. It's going to be what it's going to be. Cause it's nothing I can really do because they can take anything I make and say it's anything they want it to be. And then nobody's going to defend me. And so in the same video, Kimosabi says, most Inkwell rappers have literally been taken off various platforms because of hate speech experts. that are hired by big tech companies to censor anything not deemed profitable by investors. However, those same experts will let drill rap music videos pass as long as they rake in views, likes, and comments, which in turn does come out as profitable to investors. And see, I've noticed that as well. And I think that's why they don't care about, you know, the artists like Sexy Red or Ice Spice and how provocative and sexual their videos are. All these drill rappers talking about people that they've really killed in real life. I mean, again, bro, dead bitches is still on YouTube. And this motherfucker literally talking about multiple murders of real people. Crazy. And going in depth, in detail. But it makes them money. And see, I'm not making them money. So it's like, why care about me or what I got going on? To them, I'm just a problem because they probably see my content as going against the grain, going against these agendas. Again, making a song like Clown World, calling out society's bullshit for what it is. And it's not making them a profit. Fuck them. Take it off. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that comments video. I will see you on the next. And I got to get out of here. So, Johnny.